Yo, Winston,
My hair's a mess.
can I ask you a question? Because
Yeah.
I think your hair is fine. It's quite short. Do you think I need a haircut?
Yeah, you probably do, but that's just kind of normal for you, though.
It is. It is.
You're the man with the hair, you know?
Yeah, it's becoming, and this is something we mentioned earlier, is that when we're in southern China and Vietnam, places like this,
Yeah.
it just goes full frizz ball. It gets all weird and curly. Yours too.
Yeah, it's the humidity in the air.
Absolutely humidity. So, what do you say? We get a haircut.
Well, that's what we're trying to do now. I've been spotting. Sorry, you know, we're back in the city now.
Right.
But while we're out in the countryside, I've seen these sort of roadside street barbers almost everywhere.
Right.
And I have spotted a few of them in the city here as well. So we're just walking around, seeing if we can spot one, because that's probably the way to do it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the process of doing all of this,
Yeah.
we're going to talk about what we've noticed in cost of living from, Vietnam versus China.
And you know what? We've actually bumped into a lot of subscribers here in Vietnam.
Weirdly enough.
Yeah, and people that have lived in China before.
Yeah.
Like we just bumped into a couple a short while ago,
Right.
and they were telling us how they were living in China. They've just moved here, and they gave us a bit more of an updated idea about how much things cost.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I was always under the impression that the starting salary was about 6,000 RMB.
We were wrong.
Yeah, of course, that's from back in 2008 when my friends came
Right,
over here. So
right,
of course
right.
it's outdated.
Right.
It's more than that now.
Yeah.
Starting salary is around 1,200 US dollars,
Yeah.
which is what?
It's about 8 or 9 grand.
8 or 9 grand. Okay. Let's go up here this way.
Up here?
Yeah, let's just
Okay.
randomly. Wow, it's noisy.
What's new?
Anyway, they also told us that their monthly cost, I'll just go this side.
Okay.
Their monthly cost is around about 350 US dollars, which
Right.
includes rent, food, petrol to ride around. They've got their own scooters and stuff.
That's crazy.
It is. It's insane. So maybe we can compare that to the average cost in, well, Beijing, since this is the capital of Vietnam.
Right.
Let's look at the capital of China.
Okay.
What is rent like in the middle of Beijing?
For if you're gonna live in the middle of Beijing in like a crappy hutong apartment,
Yeah.
it's about $2,000 to $2,100 dollars a month.
Okay.
So that's what you'd pay for a small flat in San Francisco.
Very.
Right.
Yeah. Very small.
Yeah, but still.
It's on par with
It's
staying
China.
in San Francisco, right?
But it's China.
Yeah. It's.
So you got to throw that out there. Yeah, because we're talking about capital cities, right? There's no
Yeah.
way. So the average salary you're going to make as an ESL teacher there.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's going to be a struggle to cover costs because you'll probably make between 16 and 20,000 RMB as an English teacher in a training center there.
Yeah, if you've got a good job, you can make that much. Yeah.
But think about that. When you do the math, almost all of your money is going to rent.
That's why, we've got friends who live in Beijing. A lot of them still share. They share apartments.
Either share or they
Yeah.
live like 3 ring roads out.
Yeah.
And then they have to commute all the way to the center because this is where a lot of the schools are, right?
Correct.
Okay, so that's salaries, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to get into some cost of living stuff like amenities,
Okay.
right? First off, let's talk about the average meal,
Right.
right?
We
What
have
would
to.
you pay?
Well, we have to break this down into two categories, right?
Right,
If you want to have Western style food,
right.
it's incredibly expensive in China
Okay,
to get something that's fairly authentic.
okay.
Right?
Yeah,
If you want to eat like a local, it can be quite cheap.
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
but there are lots of caveats because
Right.
there's a lot of problems with food safety when you start eating the cheaper stuff.
Right, right.
Right?
Bear that in mind.
Yeah. The difference here is like, at least in Hanoi, you've got access to pretty good Western food
Right,
because of the big tourism industry here.
right,
And coffee and French bread and stuff's part of the actual local
right.
diet. So it's not something special and out there that costs extra because it's like a foreign cuisine, you know?
Yeah.
So I would say, at least in Beijing, if you go out for a meal with your friends, you're looking at least 100 RMB a person,
Right.
at least. If you
Right.
go to a half decent restaurant.
Right.
So what's that in US dollars?
So it's about 17 bucks,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's not crazy, but it's definitely not as cheap as here because
Yeah.
the other day in the city center, we ate
Yeah.
a delicious sandwich and had a really good cup of coffee for about $2 each.
Yeah,
We went outside in the, I don't say sticks, but in the suburbs
sure.
of Hanoi yesterday.
Yeah.
We saw the same thing going for cents. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm literally talking like 30 to 50 cents.
Correct.
So that's the local price, right?
Yeah, I do want to throw one thing out there, okay? Let's hit the sidewalk before we die. Everyone that we've spoken to so far, you know, foreigners that we've run into that are our subscribers, okay? And this is just from a foreign perspective. This is from a Western lens. Every single one of them has mentioned how the food here is more to their taste than in China. In other words, they're like, we say, oh yeah, what do you think of Vietnam? They're like, oh, it's crazy. It's so much fun. The food is so much better.
Right.
Right?
Everyone has said
Everyone has said that. So from a Western perspective, and I guess it's because it's the local food, right?
that. Right.
Whereas in China, the local food takes time to get used to.
Yeah, yeah.
It's something quite different to what most people are used to eating in the West.
right.
Lots of rice, bits of vegetables down south, and meat. Lots of weird stuff down south that foreigners are just not used to, right?
Right.
Up north, noodles, dumplings, those are awesome, you know. But it's still different. Over here, everything is quite familiar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Where are we going?
Man, I don't know. I just don't see any of these barbers. Maybe we
Yeah.
should just look up We're in the city after all.
Hey there,
Hey.
I know you.
Oh, really? Hi.
Very
Nice.
good. Can I have a picture with you?
Of course. Let's take a photo.
Wow, are you in Vietnam now? You're doing good now?
Yeah, we're just doing a quick trip around Vietnam.
How you doing?
Oh, hey, you are too.
Yeah.
Okay,
Cool.
that's like cool. I'm
Yeah.
like following your channel.
That's great.
Awesome,
Both
man.
of you.
Super cool.
Let's get a picture together.
Okay, let me
Yeah.
try to do it with maybe you have one. Hey.
I want to ask you, what do you think about the food here?
Yeah.
In Hanoi,
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
Very good food in Hanoi.
Yeah, I
very,
think so
very,
too.
Very, very good food, and it's not very pricey.
Yes.
It's good, and I think it's better. I don't know. Do you go to Ho Chi Minh City in the south?
I have
Yeah.
been, yeah.
And I think it's better. The food is better here.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But what do you think about the country in general? Do you-
So far, it's great. It's very friendly. It's very energetic. There's a lot of things up and coming.
All the things are available, like Grab for moving
Yeah,
around. I'm guessing you guys rented motorbikes.
Yes.
Yep,
yeah.
we did.
Yeah, that's the option here.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
best option. Yeah.
Sure.
And what other places in Vietnam have you been to?
Oh, we've been all over the north, but we've been just going through the rural countryside mostly.
Oh,
villages.
Okay. Did you go to like Hue, Da Nang, Hue An?
I've been to
Yeah.
all those places, yeah.
Okay. So thank you guys for.
Yeah,
it
thank
was
you.
really nice for meeting you here.
Thank you.
Super nice to meet
And
you.
Have a great.
Have a
day.
good
You
one.
too, man. Stay awesome. Bye. All right. Okay, so
Anyway.
from the horse's mouth, there we go.
Right.
For foreigners, the food here is pretty awesome, but
Right.
we've got to get back to how much it costs. So,
Right.
an average meal at a pretty decent restaurant is going to cost you upwards of 100 RMB
Sure,
each.
17 bucks, right?
Yeah. Over
You can
here,
spend a lot more, but yeah,
Yeah,
like
you can.
Just like here you're gonna spend $2.
Yeah.
Right? Of course, you can pay 5 or something, right? But in general, it's gonna be about 5 times cheaper.
yeah. Definitely cheaper. The petrol here is cheaper by about $1 a
The
gallon.
same price as the U.S., about $3.40 a gallon right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
as of 2019. And in China, it's about $4.40 a gallon, right? So
Mm-hmm.
cheaper petrol. Cheaper foreign things because they have a lot of cooperation with Thailand, so you get a lot of Japanese bikes and things like that.
Yes, I
at a much
noticed.
cheaper price.
Yeah, that's true. There doesn't seem to be a massive amount of tax on foreign goods here.
Not like in China, no.
Yeah, you can get foreign brands all over the place here, and
Right.
they seem to be reasonable compared to China.
Right.
Yeah. Well, so I guess we could sum up cost of living as being much cheaper here
Sure.
in Vietnam.
Sure. I mean, when it comes to even hospitals and medical treatment and stuff like this, of course it's not first world.
No.
But it's. I can say this
Yeah.
from the pharmacies I visited,
Yeah.
you can buy a lot more Western medicine here.
Okay.
Just because, of course, there's traditional Chinese medicine in Vietnam, but by and large, they use Western medicine to treat
I would
down.
like to throw something else into this though, is that China's reached a stage now where you can get a higher level of thing in
Yeah.
China if you want.
Right.
Like, there's a ceiling as to what you can get here in Vietnam at the moment. And I'm talking about like, we're in the capital city.
Right.
There are a couple of posh hotels and stuff, but there are just over-the-top, spectacular places in China.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
There are better places there
But
that
they're
do
so
have,
much more expensive.
I mean, they have world-renowned chefs, you know,
Sure.
working in the wherever. Spectacular buildings. You have much more impressive skyscrapers and hotels and stuff in China, but it's so much more expensive.
right.
So it's really up to you as to what you're looking for. Because if you want that posh, like world-class lifestyle, it's actually probably cheaper to go to Paris or something like that, you know, or Europe.
Oh, it's not probably.
Yeah.
It's 100% guaranteed.
Yeah, than China, but it's still available in China where it's
Right.
not available here.
Right.
You know,
Right.
but average everyday run-of-the-mill Joe walking around wanting to have a good time, drink some beer, eat some nice food, meet some nice girls, have their own transport. I definitely would say Vietnam's much easier than in China. What do you reckon?
100% agree thus far.
Cool.
Prove me wrong. Anyway,
So, yeah.
hope you guys like that. Let me know what you think. Tell me what you've seen when you travel around the world. Like, what's the cheapest / most overpriced place you've been? For me, it would be China, just because of the amenities that people expect when they go abroad.
Yeah.
It's incredibly expensive for that reason.
Yeah.
And cheapest place I've ever been to is probably Vietnam. It's been incredibly cheap to have a decent life and stay
Yeah.
here. So let me know what you think down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give us a like if you liked the video. And I guess we'll let SerpentZA sign off now.
Yeah, one thing I'll add before I sign off very quickly is I often get approached by family members back home who are like, oh, I want to buy a new Samsung phone. Can you buy it for me in China because it's cheaper there?
They always think so.
They always think everything's cheaper in China. It is actually more expensive to buy the same phone in China.
Right.
I mean, if you buy it in Hong Kong, you could probably get a better deal because there's no sales
That's
tax.
not China, right?
But what people don't seem to understand is that international brands specifically are actually more expensive in China than they are, you know, in their home countries or wherever they're from. So get this idea of China being a cheap place out of your mind.
It's not.
Because the only thing that you'll find cheap in China is when you go into the rural countryside, you'll
Right.
find like
Vegetables and produce and
food
meat.
is really cheap out there, but so the lifestyle is also very rural and poor.
Right.
So anyway, whether you enjoy coming to Vietnam or China or Japan or Korea, don't worry, we're going to sort you out. We're going to go to all these places. We love you all the same. So until next time, you know the drill as always. Don't have crappy hair. Find a nice place to get a haircut, which we haven't done yet, and stay awesome.
Don't forget, guys, every single Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, go watch ADVChina. You can actually watch another one right here. Every single Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, go check out Salaries 6. And right below that, you can watch SerpentZA every single Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks.